Guys, the most of you should know this game because of this game's good story and, although flawed, still has awesome gameplay. It's one of the more old but gold treasures of old horror games out there and is still quite active to this day. But one of the small communities in this game have an incredible untold story laid out there, and I want to tell you all about it. This is the history of Cry of Fear speedrunning.
Let's go!
So, in case you don't know, Cry of Fear is a psychological survival horror game that puts you into the world of Simon whilst you play through the manifestation of his anxiety and depression. This game is a Half-Life 1 mod and was created by Team Psychscholar. The game came out on Steam on the 25th of April 2013, gaining a huge amount of recognition for its terrifying jumpscares and intriguing story. This game had several boosts of popularity over the last few years, spanning from this masterpiece of a video all the way to a TikTok trend. Now, in speedrunning, there's always the first ever run. So what we need to do here is go back. Soccerstu was the first one to ever speedrun this game all the way back in 2014, and he managed to get a run in of 1 hour, 23 minutes and 29 seconds. His primary strategy was getting the FAMAS, which is an unlockable in the game that you receive by beating the game on the highest difficulty setting the game has to offer, and running as much as possible throughout the game. See, in a game like this, which is a first-person horror survival game, the first thing speedrunners tried was just getting overpowered weapons and running through the game as quick as possible. 2 years later, the speedrunning...
Guys, so you just know I'm just smiling right now, just like some crazy man, I don't know why. It's like, I really have been waiting for this video for a long time, so let's just watch this, I don't know.
This site was created and more runners came in and they beat the first ever record multiple times with no footage left for us today. Years later, on the 31st of March 2017, a player by the name of Headshot claimed the world record, beating Soccerstu's record by nearly 10 minutes already. And he introduced a all too familiar trick to us. That was B-hopping. Nowadays, a pretty common mechanic amongst the Half-Life speedrunners. B-hopping is a mechanic that was found in Half-Life, which runs in the Gold Source engine, and as Cry of Fear runs in the same engine, they just replicated the things you need to do for that, and on top of that, this game has a dodging mechanic which combined with jumping, launches you at high speeds and makes B-hopping much faster. Now, this run also introduced the first ever few skips, with the first one being right here. He did kindly explain this already down here, but I will still show you what he means by this. Basically, getting onto this roof plays a cutscene, and to get the cutscene rolling, you need to touch this little trigger right there. And he was able to reach the trigger from below. He also skipped this entire parkour section by just dodge jumping over the fence. Headshot claimed that it could have been easily a 1 hour and 12 minutes run. Just a few months later, on the 8th of August 2017, BurnerT came out with a run of 1 hour, 10 minutes and 25 seconds, beating Headshot's record by another 3 minutes. And he was the first guy to beat the record without using the FAMAS. He used the camera, which permanently freezes an enemy in this game, as well as Simon's book, which is permanently shooting fire. He also used a new skip right before the apartments, where you can climb up the scaffolding a bit more quickly. He also does something which he calls drop injecting, in which he avoids climbing down ladders and just purposely falls down and immediately uses the syringe to get the health back up. He even found an improvement of the skip from Headshot on this roof here. Instead of going all around to get to this point, BurnerT already gets to the roof from here and just gets to the trigger this way. These new tricks and strategies with Simon's book really helped him save this much time, and he himself was really surprised with this time save.
The f***? 110? Are you actually serious?
Well, with this, he took the top spot pretty comfortably, and I gotta say, there were many tricks found pretty early on, with them already shaving off 13 minutes of the first ever run, which really surprises me. But in the next 2 years, someone did show us that this was just the beginning. This someone was NixieShot. NixieShot got the world record on the 14th of October 2017. only 2 months after BurnerT's record, and he beat him by nearly 2 minutes with a 1:8:34. And at first I was surprised, because Nixie didn't use some of the skips that BurnerT used. But aside from much better movement, Nixie did use a new skip in this nightmare section, where he jumps directly to the end of the platforming you'd have to do here, as well as a much faster maze route, which is actually used to this very day and will get relevant later on again. But Nixie wasn't finished yet. He went on to beat his own record 3 more times over the course of the next 11 months, fighting to keep his world record spot as players such as Kai and Knight were catching up to him.
Alright, let's see. Ooh, that's a personal best. I was 11 seconds away from tying the old record.
In an attempt to solidify his spot at the top, he went all out on the 1st of September 2018, with a run of 1 hour, 3 minutes and 45 seconds. Now, over these 2 years, Nixie spent a lot of time in this game, practicing and testing to find something new, and he had a friend named Kiara helping him with that. I actually reached out to him and saw some of these screenshots of them testing in-game to find anything to skip or glitch. And he did find many things to further improve the pace by a lot, and I will split these things into 3 sections. First are the skips, and he found several new skips. The first one being in apartments, where you access a door through the roof to skip about 1/3 of the apartments. This works as this game uses triggers which you pass as a player to track your progress. And if you enter this room before anything else, the game will assume that you are legitimately at this point and you can just continue the game from there, skipping the entire escapade of getting several keys and the Glock. The second skip is in this park, where you'd have to do a puzzle to unlock a door, which gives you the key to progress. Nixie found a way to skip this by jumping onto the statue, hopping over this wall and getting onto this plank to touch a load trigger, which just loads the next map. And as he is not on the game's path anymore with no way to get on it, he used this gate door to get up again, as doors teleport you from one side to the other. Second are key bindings. He used the keybinds from the console commands in this game to hotkey his key items, so you can use them without ever going into the inventory. This really helped, as you'd have to go into the inventory and go to the specific item with your mouse and click on use. And there are more than 20 items like this, so this saves a considerable margin. Third and last is this wheelchair ending. This game has 4 endings, with mostly all runners going for the 4th ending, where you have to end Book Simon whilst being in a wheelchair. Now, watch this. By just seeing it, you don't really notice it, but if I compare it with the older runs, you can clearly see that he is faster. He is doing this by tapping W in a specific timing instead of holding it, to hit more movement frames. All these new findings led to him saving 7 minutes over BurnerT's previous record in the course of these 2 years. NixieShot was just unmatched at the time, and he even had the time to change Simon's clothes in the midst of a speedrun. The one closest to him has also stopped speedrunning this game. An entire year passes and his world record was still holding strong. Sure, this game wasn't the most popular to run at the time, and therefore he didn't have so many rivals who could match him, but this kind of domination never happened since the beginning of this game. But eventually, someone had to come along and push the boundaries of this game even further. And on the 19th of August 2019, it finally happened. Nixie's record got beaten. DrLa took the record with a 1:1:25 and was pretty much a new runner. Although he had been running this game since 2017 already, he never took it seriously, but he got inspired by NixieShot's world record to grind for the record himself, and also became friends with him, whilst they tried to figure out the game together. But the only reason DrLa got the record was because of a new AI exploit, which activates certain triggers. NixieShot found this by accident and then applied it to all places where this can be pulled off. And this trick helps you finish chapter 1 in about 4 minutes, as this skips a good chunk of the apartments once again, as you don't need to gather the videotape from the basement anymore. The same applies to this ladder, which just gets duped and you never have to get the second ladder from the basement, as well as the rope in this forest section. No scissors needed. This AI exploit saved an insane amount of time, and DrLa was the first one to capitalize on this and got the world record thanks to that. They were also incredibly close to the first ever sub 1 hour run. Needless to say, this will arrive sooner rather than later. Nixie has done it. Not only did he demolish the record by nearly 3 minutes, he was also the first one to have ever completed the game in under 1 hour. No one could take that away from him, and it seems like that was enough for him, as this is his personal best until this very day. He decided to leave the speedrunning scene on a high note, whilst finding so many tricks and skips for the community to use. In fact, I have an entire video based around all the findings in this game, so make sure to check that out. And while you're at it, subscribe. As Nixie was done, his initial rival DrLa had enough time to catch up to him. And eventually, he did exactly that, beating him and furthermore beating his own record several times down to a 57:04, with barely any new tricks found. Aside from that, it was really all about perfecting your movement and stamina usage, and DrLa was pretty darn good at that. And his record stayed this way for another 6 months, with only one other guy coming a bit close. Skipping ahead to the 27th of August 2020, the guy that was coming closer even went so far as to beat the world record by 37 seconds, and he even got the Team Psych Skiller commenting on this video. But then, absolute silence. Well, at least in the world record picture, because nothing happened there for over 1.5 years. But below the first spot, there was an entire revolution going on which would completely change the next few years of this speedrunning community. With the introduction of a new tool called Mad Simon, which has a timer running even when you pause the game, as well as additional information about health and speed. This made it easier to verify runs, as well as to understand the movement and health limits in this game. Besides this tool, a in-game timer live split was finally created, which eliminated the problem of lower spec PCs having a disadvantage with longer loading. This was all thanks to CoTab and DrLa. Yes, you heard right. The same guy that held the world record several times by now went on to create these quality of life changes for the speedrunning community. I went out to ask him personally how this went down, and he actually said that he was an absolute newbie when it comes to programming at this time. But with the help of Alex Magnum, they improved the script. With all these changes, we were moving into a new era of speedrunning this game. Kickstarted by 2 new players, cutting the previous record down to a 55:50. The steps were getting smaller and it was much harder to beat the record. But then, someone decided that it was his time again. Now, it is a 3-minute improvement over the last world record, but actually, it was just a 5-second improvement. As they started to have a live split in-game timer, the time stopped in cutscenes and game loads, saving about 3 minutes. So his run was not a big improvement, but he himself said that there were easily around 30 seconds to be saved. And 1 month later, he did exactly that. On the 22nd of May, 2022, with a 52:17. The movement became so incredibly skilled to the point of mistakes getting really rare. DrLa also brings in some new skips, a new and even faster version of the roof skip in which he dodge jumps this slope up, as well as this skip on a train, which skips this entire back and forth. There's also this trick of keeping the gun that you give to the doctor by dropping it before handing it over, which makes the boss fight faster as this gun does more damage. The one thing that may have prevented his possibility of a sub 52 was his mistake here. To explain what happened here, he mistyped the correct number, so he had to wait out the cooldown of using it again, ruining his chance of a sub 52. But DrLa wasn't going any further for a sub 52, as this was his last run to this very day. And there was one specific guy in the comments of this run, congratulating DrLa on the newly set world record. Although this guy was not a new face at all in this community. In fact, he already ran this game all the way back in 2021, always improving but not really being anywhere close to the top. But in 2022, he decided to grind the shit out of this game, eventually taking the top spot from DrLa by 5 seconds. But just like DrLa though, he was able to get under the sub 52 mark, but lost a lot of time here at this door, preventing a sub 52 run once again. Just a month later, Arceus made a return and beat the record by 11 seconds, getting him a 52:01. And it was clear that a sub 52 was very possible. It was just a matter of time before someone eventually snatches it by perfecting their gameplay even further. But what actually happened sure as hell surprised me when researching all this history. The 1st of January, 2023, New Year's Eve. A runner by the name of Dungeon Billy decided to join the speedrunning community. Running this game 4 times and not only getting the world record, he even completely skipped the sub 52 goal and just smashed out a run of 50 minutes and 59 seconds. He had incredibly good movement and a really good assigner run which saved him about 40 seconds. The other 20 seconds came from lowering the FPS to 20 in the end, as this made it easier to hit more movement frames on the wheelchair, which made you much faster. And honestly, I am convinced that he would have held this record for a long time. But only 5 days later, on the 6th of January 2023, a guy by the name of WinoCM has made a historic finding, which will also simultaneously spark a new rivalry between 2 speedrunners that went on to be iconic.
Hello everyone, today I want to show you a new glitch that I've recently found. As you can see, my stamina is draining when I'm jumping, so yeah. What you have to do is jump on this door. It's gonna look like this. So anyway, after you done that, you go here and you check. See? There's no stamina drain. I can go in any location further into the game and there will be no stamina drain.
Yes, you heard that right. The biggest problem of constantly running out of stamina and having to perfect not only movement but also your stamina management was completely thrown out of the window, thanks to this new water glitch. Now, sadly, you can only pull this off as soon as you enter these underwater apartments, which is about 50% into the game. So that means you still need to play the first half of the game like always. But the second half was about to completely change. And an already familiar name came to make full use of that, finally getting his first world record after nearly 5 years. His name was Kyanite. Kyanite was able to be the first to completely use the advantage of this newfound glitch and also got to be the first guy ever to complete Cryophy in under 50 minutes. Thanks to the new water glitch, it was now possible to just b-hop pretty much anywhere and infinitely on top of that. All the skips were made easier by this, as well as some new stuff like hopping in these crouched areas. But obviously, there was still a lot to improve, as this glitch was still relatively new. This is where Riggy87 comes into the mix. Someone who held the record once before, now becoming the rival of Kyanite by beating his world record with a sub 49. Now, this run was really insane for several reasons, because he died to the doors in the midst of the run and just respawned, did the maze skip, which I will explain in a sec, and went on to beat the world record. Now wait, you may wonder now how he can die and still get the world record. Well, you see, the rules allowed you to die a maximum of 2 times per run. I mean, a run takes nearly up to 1 hour, so I think that's just fair. Oh, and yeah, maze skip. One of the hardest skips to pull off, which was just made possible because of the water glitch. Basically, you get through the maze so fast that you get to this point before this thing. This allows to just breeze through without having to wait behind him, as he is slow. This saves about 10 seconds and definitely secured Riggy the sub 49 run. Riggy held his record for a while before Kyanite came back on the 23rd of May 2023 with a 48.41, a 7-second improvement. And what's so special about this run is the fact that it has nearly 300,000 views. And what surprised me is the fact that Kyanite did some of the skips much slower than in Riggy's run and didn't even get the maze skip, and still beat Riggy's record just by having the better movement. And Kyanite didn't stop here, pushing this further down to a 48.25, which could have been a sub 48, although he lost a lot of time over the entire run. But he saved nearly 25 seconds because of this boss fight, and I think it's a good time to talk about this. You see, this game is mostly RNG free, so a speedrun is really all about skill and a bit of luck because of some enemy spawns. But the only RNG part in this game which can cost you so much time is this doctor boss fight. Because the doctor mostly has 3 actions to decide from. 1. Staying in cover, 2. Peeking to shot, and 3. Moving to another spot. And from these 3 decisions he is only targetable in 1. Peeking, that is. And with this far into the game, it really sucks when you get bad RNG here. So in Kyanite's case here, he got really lucky.
Let's see how much time I save. Oh my god. What is this time save? Wait, what the heck? We might actually get world record again.
After this, Kyanite took a little break from the game, seemingly visiting Sweden in the meantime.
I've been here in real life, by the way. It's a really good park.
And in this time, Rigi came back with a 48-11, getting even more crazy views, like what the f. Anyway, after this world record from Rigi, the world record scene has become quiet, once again, with the 2 rivals having breaks from the game for over 6 months. Because of the nearly 1 million combined views from both the runs, many more runners came in, as well as myself actually in this time. And before we even knew it, the most active time of this speedrun community was just about to come. March 2024. A absolute crazy time as both Kyanite and Rigi returned and both went on a complete grinding session with several streams on both sides, competing for the best possible time. But on the 18th of March, something very unfortunate would happen.
Ooh, time save. Look at that. How are we ahead? How are we ahead? Holy shit, that's so clean. 14 seconds. We are so back. FPS max 20. We have 14 seconds to throw. It's fine. Oh no. That might be the biggest upset. I cannot move. I cannot move. I am... I'm not even mad. That's just stupid. Welcome to Cry of Fear.
With Cry of Fear being an unstable old game and an old engine, playing it for too long makes it bug out, and unfortunately for Kyanite, he tapped right into this at the very end of a run. That could have been the first ever sub 48 run, beating the world record in the same process. But this didn't stop him from continuing. In fact, he only just begun. And Rigi noticed the progress that Kyanite was making. So he went straight on to push for himself. And just like that, the race was on for the world record.
Holy shit, sub 48! Well, that world record didn't last long, Rigi. Holy shit. 47.51.
GG.
That's actually crazy. 47.31. Yeah, I beat Rigi again. And I'm gonna make him beat me again.
No, bro. This round won't count.
Come on, show yourself again. No! It's over. It's actually over. 47.28. It's not a world record though. Rigi is still better.
Better he was by 1 second once again. None of these runs were uploaded though, because everything went by so fast and this back and forth was legitimately insane to watch. The 47.06 run from before showed us what was possible, although the run was not legit as he died more than 2 times. In a time where one little mistake on a certain skip or a bad RNG with the doctor could destroy the chance of getting the world record, and with no new skips found in recent time, you would have to play insanely good to keep the world record. But despite all that, on the 11th of April 2024, Riggy87 made history. We went all the way from a run of 1 hour, 23 minutes and 29 seconds to a run of 46 minutes and 39 seconds. Nearly 40 minutes have been saved, and I would say for a full-length horror story game, this is pretty damn good. Through all the players who have paved the way for this to happen. But this could be just another chapter of this game's speedrunning history, before someone comes along and shows us what is actually possible in this game. Who knows what skip could be found one day, with several skips being just out of reach, like this lake skip which I talked about in this video. To lower the record even more and start a resurgence in the speedrunning scene once more. Whatever the case may be, it sure was a cool little story, and as of writing this script, we already have 8 people with a sub 50 and 4 people with a sub 48, which is just a absolute insane display of skill and patience. Yeah, I missed it by 8 seconds, I know, shut up.
Okay. Wow, I don't know what to say, like, that was so good. So good.
Hey guys, the most of you
Okay
should...
guys, I will leave a link so you could like, comment and hit the like button to this person, this crazy man who have created like video like this. It's, I don't know, to be honest, I wanted to make video like this, but I couldn't because like I don't understand how to use Photoshop and things like this, but still DrSM have done that for me. So yes, that was, I don't know, I've I have I have been waiting for this video for so long. So yes, it's crazy. Okay, thank you.